Welcome to episode 171 of the Campus Comics Cast. As we record, it is early on a Saturday morning, but I have already had my Count Chocula, so I am good to go. This is Scott Reed, and I am joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison
and Chad Schubert.
And hey, before we jump into next phase, the Echo trailer, or I guess the official Echo trailer, released, and we all took a couple of minutes before we started recording to go and watch it. And I guess first question is, what are your initial thoughts? Hot take, Chad. Hot take.
Vincent D'Onofrio killing it as Kingpin again. That is that's. I mean, he kind of steals the thunder of that entire trailer. It's just like, dang, he is so good.
I guess we should say spoilers if you're opposed to watching trailers, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think that's too big of a surprise for anybody who knows Echo as a character.
Right. Or has seen the last time we saw Echo, we also saw Kingpin in the same episode, right?
Yes, but we also saw something happen at the end of that episode.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So I guess it is sort of a spoiler that Kingpin is in this if you weren't expecting it. So
but just flashbacks. That's it. It's just flashbacks.
Oh, there you go. Right. Mike, hot takes.
Chad stole my thunder just like Vincent D'Onofrio stole everybody else's thunder in that trailer. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you just can't go wrong. I think the people that compiled that trailer knew that when they put him front and center. He is just one of those actors that commands your attention. But I think that's no slight toward the actor that plays Echo. I don't have her name at the tip of my tongue, but
it's something Cox. No, wait a minute. Oh gosh, I had her name, and
sorry,
that's okay. And I'm gonna look it up while you talk.
Yeah, I'm just this seems like a very. I like the idea of something that's more gritty and street level for
exactly.
A change. I'm kind of done with the galactic fights and the end of the universe stuff and maybe even less of some of the flip jokey shows that we've had recently. This is going to be more serious, and that's refreshing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm gonna butcher her name. I apologize. Alaqua Cox. So the same actress who played Echo in Hawkeye and did an outstanding job. So
Charlie's little sister.
I do not think there is any relation. I can neither confirm nor deny that. But man, Echo was one of my favorite characters in the modern Marvel universe. I don't like where they took the character and turned her into a cosmic level character when she got the Phoenix Force in the comic books. So I am really excited to see street level Maya Lopez. Just absolutely one of my favorite comic characters right now. Love this character and super excited for this series. That's all.
Yeah, it really seems like, and I'm surprised, instead of, as we're kind of expanding Disney's or the MCU's Netflix kind of universe that they had, I think we all assumed that there would be a lot more of those characters being brought to the Disney MCU version of things. But it really seems like this show is bringing itself to the grittiness of that world instead of vice versa, which gives me a lot of hope for the Daredevil show as well.
Yeah, because I heard a lot of bad things about the Born Again, but apparently they have fired all the writers and are going back to scratch on that.
Wow.
So yeah, they announced that a while back. So that also gives me a little bit of hope. So, and all I'm going to say is that the official trailer, go to 1 minute, 27 seconds, pause it. And there's a really, really cool scene there. So I'm not going to say who's there for people who don't want to see spoilers, but 1 minute, 27 seconds. That's all you need to know. So yeah. Yeah, I was excited for this series before. I am more excited now. So, okay. Any final thoughts?
You said January 10th, right?
January 10th, yes.
I mean, it's not directly related, but it is. I know we were. Is there anything else coming up TV wise between now and then at all?
Well,
Or is it
Loki's
a dry
wrapping
spell?
up. Yeah, Loki's wrapping up. So Loki's going on right now. So then we'll only have basically the last half of November and December before this hits. And I don't know if there's anything Star Wars coming to Disney, because sometimes they were alternating DC or Marvel and Star Wars. So I don't know if there's going to be a Star Wars something in between.
Don't think so. I'm trying to think of what at least I've seen announced, and
Yeah.
I think Ahsoka was the last kind of big push lately.
Yep. So, which is okay with me because that'll give me time to. I like to, my new holiday season is Hawkeye. I like to watch Hawkeye around Christmas, so that'll give me time to squeeze in Hawkeye, which would be great to also rewatch before Echo comes out. So, which reminds me also, this being November 4th, I've got to get in my V for Vendetta read as well. So I can remember the 5th November.
That's right.
So.
Okay, next phase. All right, so we're going to jump into the next phase catalog provided by Lunar. And my first thing is on page 5.
Good to go.
If I can find my catalog, I opened it up and now it has vanished. Well, okay, so on page 5, we've got the Project Cryptid from Ahoy Comics. All right, this is the 5th of 6 issues. They don't really tell us too much about what cryptids are in this one, other than the Hodag. I'm not familiar with the Hodag is, but so we got the Hodag and 2 others, and I think they have their best artist that they have had yet on this series. I don't remember who the artists were on the first 4, but Gene Haw is art duty on this particular issue of Project Cryptid, so that should be pretty good, at least the art.
Have you read any of these yet?
I have not. I have only physically had my hands on issue number 1, and it's in my to read pile. So I do plan to read it at some point, but I have not read it yet.
Gotcha. I read issue 1 and issue 2. They're okay.
They're okay. I didn't figure they would be great.
They're not. Yeah, there probably will be one of those that'll be like, oh my gosh, the artwork's fantastic and the story is great for the Chupacabra or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, since it's kind of anthology setup, I'm sure that it's going to be hit and miss throughout the whole thing.
Yep. All right. My next thing's not till 29. Oh, go ahead.
We're an Image catalog, or are we in the overall?
We're in the next phase catalog. Because Image is
okay.
included in the next phase catalog.
Right. I keep both of them up because I never know from one episode to the next which way we're doing it. So
no.
I have something on page 123, so we have a ways, yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you're not going to talk about what's on page 29?
Well, I guess I'll look and see.
Yeah. So I'm shocked with you being a native of Chester that you would not talk about what is on page.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I feel like I've beat that horse dead a few times.
You know what? There's not a lot of Popeye stuff in catalogs anymore. So you're allowed to fly your flag every once in a while.
Yeah. So let me get to that page. Oh, for heaven's sake! I got a slow computer, I think. Here it is. Yeah. So yeah. As people that have listened before, they've probably heard me talk about Popeye because my hometown is also the home of Popeye and his cast of characters, and the creator was from there and based most of the characters off of real people. But anyway, there is a hardcover 112-page book for $40 that is called Popeye Variations, Not Your Pappy's Comic and Art Book. So for the Popeye completist, I guess I wouldn't say I'm one of those, but it's earmarked for me to possibly buy. But like I said, I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't know if there was much interest in that. But yeah, it's there. It looks like it'd be some pretty cool stuff.
Do you have much of a Popeye collection?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
I have a few books from Mike No's shop. And even when Dennis was there, and then of course the Popeye fan club in stores in Chester, so I've purchased things from them as well too. But it is pretty minimal, to be honest.
Okay, all right. My next thing's not till 32, which is actually in the DC catalog.
That's where I'm at as well.
Okay, so you on 32? Go ahead.
Oh, 32 is Batman 428 Robin Lives, the never published version of the Death in the Family finale that when everyone got to vote whether Robin lived or died. They're finally releasing the other version.
Okay, I thought that they had done this before. Mike, have they done this before? I thought they had.
Not that I know of.
Really?
I had
Okay.
this. Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird that they waited this long.
I don't have it. No.
Okay. I thought that they had released something like this before where it had this artwork in it. I didn't realize. I mean, and maybe I'm just thinking of something else. I know they did this with Jean Grey because they didn't have a call-in vote. But when Jean Grey, died back in whatever oh gosh, I don't remember what issue it was of X-Men, they had like a splash page for the next issue, and that's been published, several times. It's like the one where they're around have the funeral, or the one with Scott and Jean walking through a forest or something like that. So, but I really thought that they had published this before. So, okay, I guess I am mistaken. Which is just any day ending in Y. Okay, page 33, we have Action Comics 1061, which is going to start a run by Jason Aaron. So I had early on I was on the Jason Aaron bandwagon, then I got off the Jason Aaron bandwagon, and now after Punisher I'm back on the Jason Aaron bandwagon. So I may actually start picking up Action just to see what he does with this character. I expect him to have one or two really good stories for Superman, and then we'll see what happens. But we've got a more dangerous version of Bizarro.
Yeah, I definitely will be picking this up. I've been picking up Action anyway because I've been enjoying the Philip Kennedy Johnson run. I like Bizarro as one of the main antagonists. Depending on the version, if this one's a little bit more serious, I think I might like it as well. I like it a little bit better as well. And yeah, I just wonder just how long Jason Aaron will be on it, because I do want to. I'll continue picking it up as long as he's on it. I'm not the world's biggest John Timms fan, but I think Aaron's writing can probably overwhelm that for me.
I mean, the artwork, they give 4 pages of pencils and inks, afterwards. So yeah, I think it looks pretty solid. You don't like his face for Superman, I guess?
I don't like the chin. It's
okay.
Or the style more so than anything. It's sort of, I don't want to say manga-ish, but it just seems a little bit of that.
He's got a Jay Leno chin.
Yeah, he's got that big square jaw, which in and of itself is fine, but it's combined with the kind of real narrow nose. Again, it's just nitpicky stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I can get over it. Don't you guys worry.
Okay. All right. All right. So page 35, we have DC's first breakout characters, first appearances collected. So what has there been, like 2 appearances of Trinity? I don't know. I've not been reading Wonder Woman. So we have Trinity Special #1. So I don't even think I picked up her first appearance, even though we knew it was going to be a first appearance, because I didn't expect this character to go anyplace. So that's probably why maybe it is taken off, because I didn't buy any of it.
Right. It's going to be evidently an instant classic. This Trinity Special, from what it says.
Because the reprints are always instant classics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think these are supposed to be set in the future. At least her appearance was. I haven't read any of the new Tom King Wonder Woman.
I guess, is it out yet?
I thought it was.
Okay.
But maybe not. I haven't picked up anything since I've been over here. I am completely out of the loop.
Okay.
Guess I can look on the app and see where.
Yeah, see where it's at. Of course, that's a month behind, but.
Mm-hmm. The art by Sam Pierre is just phenomenal, though. I mean, he's one of those artists that you can kind of gaze at it for a while and be happy.
Of course, we're complaining about noses, and she looks like she has a cold in this image here. That's more the colors than the
little yeah.
Yeah, a little red there, a little red on the nose.
Yeah.
So little Kris Kringle going on. So
I think I've got that myself right now, so I can relate.
My next thing's on page 40.
Okay, I'm not till 55.
Okay, so page 40, we got Batman 141, which here it says is the conclusion of Mind Bomb. I thought we had the conclusion of Mind Bomb last month. So did this get delayed, or am I just off? I don't remember.
I thought the same thing, Scott, because that image even looks familiar. And, with the sort of composite Batman and Zero-Hour on the cover, but to be honest, I didn't have the energy to go look it up.
Me neither. Maybe they early solicited this issue, so maybe we're just getting a double solicit on this one.
It could have been
early January, so I guess they probably knew what was going on here. So
the end of this story arc, even though I like Zdarsky's writing and I didn't hate the story, the Zero-Hour thing I'm done with it. I'm done with that.
I'm a few issues behind, but because I've been reading Batgirl after we did our first 5 of Cassandra Cain, I'm up to issue 50 something of that series. So
wow. Gracious.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I'll just throw that out there. So I haven't been keeping up with a lot of new stuff because I've been reading that. So yeah. 48 is my next thing.
Let me just mention, I haven't read any of these yet, but I have to reiterate, this is also a Jason Aaron book being written, Batman Offworld. It's number 3 in the series, but it's also got the outstanding art of Doug Monk. I've really enjoyed his art over the years. For the 20 or so years he's been, maybe more, maybe 25, but he's top notch, and I look forward to reading that, even though it's not what you would think of with Batman, being off out in space, but look forward to reading some of that when I get caught up.
Yeah, that was Aaron's first book at DC, right? This Batman Offworld?
Yeah, if I recall,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm still at 40. No, wait a minute. I'm at
48.
48. 48 is where I'm at.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, Mike. Marilyn Moonlit. Who is that? Is this somebody that I'm supposed to know?
Marilyn
good.
Moonlight. No, that's nothing.
Yeah, sorry, Moonlight.
They missed an opportunity, though. When I seen this cover and this solicit, they missed an opportunity to have. Well, they could have had Terra Man. That's one of Superman's coolest Bronze Age foes. He's basically a space cowboy that rides a horse in space. Terra Man. And so I don't know. Maybe Marilyn Moonlight might be a new character. Have to.
She first appearance was this year in Superman #2.
Oh, okay.
It appears, maybe.
Well, make a little note here.
I do not like the pose that Superman is striking, though.
It's sexy.
I mean, he's trying to be sexy. Yeah, strike the pose.
Sexy cowboy.
He said Superman 2 for Maryland. I almost said Moonlit again. Moonlight. I don't know why I have Moonlit stuck in my head. So, but I like I said, I looked at this as there's going to be Jonah Hex, and it's oh no, Jonah Hex. But then that's when I saw Marilyn Moonlit, and golly, Moonlight.
You say it wrong 3 times and she appears.
That's right. And then my second thought was Jenny Hex, but yeah, we didn't get either of those. Yeah. So we got Marilyn Moonlight. There you go. Okay, all right.
I'll write a letter to Mr. Williamson and tell him that he missed out.
You
missed the opportunity.
Missed it bad. So all right, I'm on 51.
Yeah, I'm again. My notes I have written down the DC pages, so let me figure it out here.
Which is 20 in the DC catalog.
Okay, you're okay then. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm mentioning this one. Why am I mentioning this one? Oh, because it says death of a major Green Lantern character revealed. So I guess the question is, death of which character? Who's going to die to be brought back in 2 months?
Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan? You think? I don't think it'll be Hal Jordan. Who do we
Just
think?
depends on what they consider major. It could be
Yeah.
Kilowog, or they won't kill Guy Gardner.
No. Yeah, there's a series
it'll
of
be
Guy
one of
Gardner coming up. So
yeah, it'll be one of the alien, Green Lanterns. I'm looking on the cover here to see. I think all I see is Kilowog,
Hal, Sinestro,
yeah.
And got the blindfolded one there. I don't know who that is. But
well, and the way that it talks about it in the solicit is it says the mystery of what took place on Koryugar is finally revealed. So when they say a death is revealed, are they telling a story of something that has happened in the past and it's not even an active story?
That's how so somebody died and we're just now going to find out that they died.
Yeah.
And Koryugar that's the home planet of Sinestro, right?
Sure.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I will defer to you on that one for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Sinestro and what was the Green Lantern that Abin Sur that gave the ring to Hal. I am interested.
They're going to go back and tell the story of how Abin Sur actually died.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Gosh. Oh boy, that'd make people mad, including myself.
Okay. Then my next thing's not till page 80, which is 49 in the DC catalog. So
on the very next page, I just want to comment that even though I'm not really liking the path that they're putting Power Girl on with her power set and her new name of Paige, which is like PG, phonetically, Gary Frank, he still knocks it out of the park with his art, even if it takes him forever. So I enjoy seeing anything he's drawn. And these days he's going to be exclusive to another company that we'll probably talk about later.
Okay.
We'll have to see any of his stuff. But yeah, I don't have anything for just a bit here.
I've got 55.
It's on page 55. Go ahead, Shad.
Well, 55 in the big book, which is 24. So depending on what you're looking at. Is the DC Power 2024. I'm always a sucker for these kind of anthology series that have a bunch of creators and celebrating diversity in the comic side of things. And this is I guess kind of the Black History Month book. It's going to be out on shelves before February. So it's spotlighting the Black characters from across the DC universe. And we've got quite a few creators that I don't know the names of, but we'll definitely pick it up to see, what I like as far as the different people. But we definitely have the Signal. We've got Green Lantern on there. We've got quite a few characters that I'm not overly familiar with on there as well. So definitely something to check out.
You got the Green Lantern of Earth 22 on there. His name is, oh boy, it's escaping me now. I just had it too. Anyway, he was very prominent in Justice League. You know what? You need to just edit this whole part out, Scott, because I can't.
So that's not John Stewart.
No, not John Stewart. It's
okay.
Calvin, or Cal is what he goes by, but it's kind of a variation of
Calvin Ellis, Superman.
Calvin Ellis, yes.
Okay.
Oh, Superman. I thought you said Green Lantern.
Yeah, I thought you said Green Lantern too. So okay, yeah. So
I could have, but I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's Sojourner. Do I want to say not Truth? Sojourner. What's her name? The Far Sector.
From Far Sector.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Is the Far Sector Green
Joe
Lantern.
Maline or Malign, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And is that Vixen there?
I'd say it's Vixen. It's right. Nubia at the top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spectre to the far right.
Spectre. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he's Crispus Allen Spectre.
Okay.
I'm still not till 90, so
59's my next one.
I'm at
Which is-
56. This is a complete indulgence. I'm not saying I'm going to buy this, but I'm not saying I'm not going to buy it. But it's DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. So also in February is Valentine's Day, and it's 10 story, or well, I don't know how many stories. It's $10. I'll put it that way. 80 pages, and it's a bunch of romance stories, and it sounds kind of funny, I mean,
you can't go wrong with Amanda Connor cover either. So
no, you can't. No. And those characters there with Guy Gardner and Guy making that little heart shape in front of his belt, that's pretty hilarious.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, so it'd be a guilty pleasure, but I may pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole Fire and Ice goes all the way back to Justice League Europe, right? So, or was
Yes,
was that international?
Well, international / America /
Okay.
just plain Justice League. They changed names quite a bit.
Hmm.
Which one were you on then, Chad? 58?
59.
Well, then I got one on 58, which is another one that's a purely indulgent deal. But I picked up one of those uncovered issues before that basically is just a book full of covers, and it was a Harley Quinn one because the actual cover of that book was an homage to Crisis on Infinite Earths #7. One of the more enjoyable homage covers I've seen for that. But this one with Power Girl and the Birds of Prey, like I said, it's hard not to enjoy the art, and I think I'll probably pick those up just to say it's there and to try not to stare at the boob window too much.
All right, I found our stinger for the end. I'm just going to repeat that like 30 times with his voice really, really high.
Oh, like I said, it's not something I'm proud of, but yeah, I'll probably pick those up.
Still on
on 59 is John Constantine Hellblazer, Dead in America #1. So this is a follow-up to Size Superior and Aaron Campbell's 2020 Constantine run, which I remember being pretty enjoyable. I don't know if I actually finished it, but I do remember reading like the first half of it at least, and it was pretty good. This time, Dream is asking for John's help to find out who's using the Sandman sand, to cause trouble. So it's just another book in the Sandman universe of things. It seems like they're staying pretty consistent of having like one book on the shelves at all times, or at least with maybe a month gap in between. And I'll definitely pick this one up.
Cy Spurrier is becoming one of my more one of the writers that I'm really enjoying lately. I hadn't read anything of him for years, until just this past year, and I think he's pretty versatile, and
his name is on a lot of books in this catalog.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. He seems to be a lot more like he's having his heyday. He's a little more prolific right now. I just keep seeing it too.
And I got to meet him. in the last couple months. Right. So,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I read something that was put out about a year ago. It was the Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade. I read that 5-issue series, and he wrote it, and he did a really good job.
I'm not till 73.
I think you're next then.
Okay. 73 is, I'm flipping quickly, is the it's another Sandman thing, so I got to talk about it. Is the box set for the Little Endless Storybook. I have these separately, but with the slipcover, it's like, do I buy this again? So that I have the cool slipcover and then give somebody my individual copies. This is Jill Thompson writing and drawing these little chibi kind of versions of the Endless siblings. And I love this book. It's cute. Both of them are in kind of it's like the Muppet Babies version of the Endless, and I dig it. So if you like Sandman, if you have a kid and you like Sandman, get this for them to read them the stories. I don't remember them being.
You want to twist them a little bit as a young child?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about raising kids, but it seems like a good idea.
It didn't hurt Chad too much.
I'm fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
I grew up on Jim Henson. Like Dark Crystal was my favorite movie growing up.
I'm on page 77. If there's nothing before then.
Oh, I got 75 real quick. The Batman Beyond animated series classics compendium 25th anniversary, collecting the full volume 1 and volume 2 run of the Batman Beyond books for their first time, evidently, it says, which I believe because they've always been in like these weird collections that are just titled, so it's like collections of whatever this 5-issue run is, and you can buy that and here and there, but I've never seen them completely collected, so there's probably a few books that haven't been printed since their individual issues on that. So any Batman Beyond fan, this might be the thing to have on your shelf.
Yeah, That's actually, now that you mention that page, and I see right next to it is the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Hard Traveling Heroes Omnibus. I only have one omnibus, I think, in my collection, but I'd say if I ever really downsized my collection and sold off some of those I almost said Green Adams, Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil, comics that have some value, but I'd probably want to have a hardcover to replace them and put it on the shelf and not just rely on the digital copy. So, and along those lines is on the next page, you have JLA Book 1. It's the Grant Morrison. And of course, you had stories by Mark Miller, Brian Augustin, and art by Howard Porter. It's a 608-page. I don't know if you call this an omnibus because it's a soft cover. So what do you call that, Scott? Just a big collection?
It's a big, I wouldn't call it an omnibus. Yeah, just a trade. If it's soft cover, it's a trade.
Yeah, I would not want a soft cover of that. I'd rather have the hard cover. But my point is that really changed thing. That really it really moved the needle for Justice League when it needed to. Just like a lot of titles, they kind of were not doing well in the mid 90s, and then there was a late 90s resurgence. So if anyone wants to get something that kind of represents that for the Justice League, I would recommend this, especially now that there's no new Justice League title out, which kind of starting to concern me. I thought it would be just a couple of months, but it's been, I think we're pushing 6 months or a year now. So we'll see.
I guess they're too busy fighting Godzilla and King Kong in that.
That's true.
Yeah. So. So, not comic book, but on page 80, which I guess is the back cover of the catalog, they're advertising for their new digital game, DC Dual Force. So this is a mobile game primarily, but it's a digital card game. I'm addicted to Marvel Snap. I'm scared to try this because then I would have two games that I might be addicted to. But I am probably going to be installing this later today and seeing how it goes. So
have to show us it next time we're together.
So all right, that ends DC for me. My next thing in the rest of the catalog is on 117. So I'm into Image before I have anything.
Same. I'm not 117, but I'm in Image.
Okay. Before or after 117?
After.
After? Okay. Well, Mike, you got anything before 117 in the next phase catalog?
No, I'm an Image.
Okay. Well, okay. So, Shad, I'm actually going to put you on the spot this time. So we have Moon Man #1, which is written by Scott Kid Cudi Muscudi, who is
Kid Cudi.
Okay, Kid Cudi. So it's Kid Cudi Muscudi, who is a quote unquote superstar musician who I've never heard of. So
he's a rapper. He's a big rapper.
Educate me. Oh, is he? Okay. All right. So that probably explains, because I don't listen to a lot of music, period. So
what's that like to not have music in your life like that?
You know, it's calm and quiet. Yeah. No, instead of listening to music, I'm listening to podcasts all the time.
There you go.
Then I switch to audiobooks. So when I run out of podcasts each week, I switch to audiobooks. So
gotcha. Yeah, he's Kid Cudi is a pretty big rapper.
Okay, all right. Well, he is now also a comic writer alongside Kyle Higgins. Is this going to be part of the Massive Verse?
I don't know. I fell off of the Massiverse.
Okay, I see you were gonna collect the entire thing.
I know, and I went.
Yeah.
I'm not even reading. I'm like 2 years behind on the Massiverse, and I on a stack in my room.
Okay. All right.
Gave
So, hey, there's Dennis Cowan's name again. That's the second time I've noticed in this catalog. So he's also on the DC Power. 123 is my next thing.
128 is my next, so I'm still
getting there. Okay, so Ghost Machine. There's a one shot followed by apparently a first issue. No, wait a minute. Is it a one shot and then a first issue, or is it just a one shot? Oh, okay, it's just the one shot with multiple covers. Yeah. So now this is going to take Scott Snyder's Geiger and put it into a universe with lots of other stuff. So Redcoat, Widow X, other mysterious historical heroes of the unnamed together. So apparently Scott Snyder is going to start building this universe. And is it Scott Snyder or is it? No, it's
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jeff Johns. Why did I think this was Scott Snyder?
Scott Snyder's big into the distillery, a similar type company. That's very,
But I thought I actually thought that Scott Snyder wrote Geiger. But
no, that's Johns and Frank mostly.
Yeah, well, I knew it was Frank. I just thought it was Snyder and Frank, not Johns and Frank. So I never actually read it. So
I've got it. Have not read it.
Yeah, I have. I've got a couple of graded 9/8 just in case, So, but so I guess if you want to get in, if you've already got Geiger, and I assume that the robot military guy, I can't remember what his name was.
Junkyard Joe.
Thank you. Yeah, if he might be part of this, though they don't mention him here, but since he was in Geiger, I assume that he's probably going to be part of this as well. So if you want to see some additional characters pop in, then this might be a book to pick up.
Yeah, this whole Ghost Machine endeavor is pretty interesting. It's brought in several pretty prominent creators like Brad Meltzer, Jason Fabok, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Jeff Johns, like we said, Francis Manipul, Peter Tomasi. They are all exclusive to the company, and this company's it's being published. The comics are being published through Image Comics, and but it really promotes all of the creator owned aspect, sort of like Distillery in that way. I don't know all of the other details, but it seems that what I really thought was interesting is that you won't see these creators anytime soon at other companies.
Including those Power Girl covers from DC, right?
Yeah. Might have been his last one for a while.
My next thing's on 170.
We got 128 is mine, which is the Colonized one shot. This is the only thing in Image that really kind of ticked it up for me at all. Is it's aliens versus zombies. Aliens visit a small town and accidentally reanimate the town's dead. It was a nice little horror alien kind of combo one shot. So you can just kind of dip your toe in, read it, and be done with it. That's a $10 book, but
got like a 4-page preview here in the catalog as well. There were several really long previews in this catalog. I was and of course I guess that was bad because after looking at the previews I was not interested in any of the books that they had the long previews for. So
so
I guess that's
good for me. Thing or bad thing.
It's good for me, bad for them. So
but I love that they're taking advantage of this being a digital only catalog and just giving us previews for almost every book if they can.
And on the Lunar website, when you go to get the Next Phase catalog, they have like several. It says, it's funny, it's previews is what it says, but it's not the previews catalog. It's previews of some of the upcoming comics. So like right now there is like Voyage Day Gourmet and Dear Editor and Tuskers and 7 Years in Darkness, Colonized, Cobra Commander, Ghost Machine, Moon Man, Philadelphia, Sherlock Holmes, Swan Song, Bloodrick. I mean, I'm only like 4 pages in, about 12, 15. So there are tons of previews. So if there's some, indie books you're thinking about, you ought to check the Lunar page, see if one of those previews is, make a decision one way or the other. This is for me or it's not for me. So Yeah, the GI Joe has 301 has a preview. So there's all kinds of previews there on lunardistribution.com. So I'm still at 170.
Yeah, I'm good.
196 is my next one.
Okay, so on 170 we have Philadelphia jumping the shark. So apparently, in a recent issue of Philadelphia, there was a Spawn crossover, and now we have Savage Dragon appearing in Philadelphia. So what I initially thought to be kind of on its own, vampire with the vampire story with some historical background to it, now has jumped into the whole super quote unquote superhero portion of the Image verse, and we now have Savage Dragon and Spawn appearing in these books as well. So I'd say that's probably nearing the end of Philadelphia's run is going to be my opinion. A la Happy Days. So
going just
really,
because I was just flipping through and I didn't pay attention to it before. On 172, Local Man number 9 is so much an X-Men costume on that cover that I don't even think they could deny that it's an X-Men costume.
He's got it even as an X on his head.
Yes, absolutely. I know it's a 90s superhero in quotations, but that's, yeah.
I go to 238.
Okay.
Which is in the Scout comics. So I'm done with Image.
Fast forwarding to 196 unless Mike has something else.
No, I do not.
Okay. So from Mad Cave is a book on 196 called Dear Editor, but DEER. Yeah. I don't know. I stopped for a second. I was like, what am I trying to say here? Which is it says John Doe Slane. A John Doe Slane lures a journalist into a world of political intrigue and Wi-Fi enabling grotto and a station locker full of secrets. But the hook here is it's a kind of mystery thriller, but it's a dude with a deer head. Is the whole part of it?
Not just antlers, but the entire deer head.
A whole it's not a sweet tooth scenario. This is just a straight up deer head. And it seems like something I would read. It's 3 issues, so it's a small run on a weird thing from Mad Cave. So why wouldn't I buy it?
You'll have to report back on that because I couldn't make myself do it, even though it was sort of intriguing. It was a bridge too far.
Sometimes the anthropomorphic stuff I just can't do for some reason. I don't know why. So it is what it is.
Absolutely. My next thing's not till 243.
Okay, so 238 we have Rogues number 1. This is from Scout Comics, and I mentioned this more not for this book, but apparently Scout is starting a Scout Europe imprint, which they're going to feature some European creators. There's a second book that I noticed called The Veil that is also going to be part of this imprint. Now, the thing that I can't decide looking at these solicits is if these are existing stories that are now being published under this Scout Europe, or if these are brand new stories. So because it implies that this story for Rogues is called Jumping Point, which is that's supposed to be a quote unquote jumping on point, but that implies that there's some history behind it. So I don't know. I can't decide if it's these characters exist already,
right,
or if these are going to be brand new stories. So
I will tell you that the Veil seemed interesting, but then as I was reading the solicit, also seemed like a reprint. So I agree with you because they say something about a remastered and relettered for the Veil, and so that was like, okay, this is a reprint that they're getting their hands on for maybe a more global distribution, perhaps.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was feeling, but I just wasn't for sure. So
that's exactly why the ideas of these books made me pause, but then I seen that they were from Europe and likely reprints are picking up at a that there's already a pre-existing story behind them all that I wouldn't be able to really follow up on. So that's why I didn't mark it down.
And I feel like that's something that hasn't been done since like the 80s or something, where they started bringing like some of those stories into like U.S. markets. Like it's been a long time since we've seen something like this. So, and believe it or not, I am done with next phase.
Well, I just have one more. So in 243, coming from Strangers, is the name of the publisher. I don't think I've ever saw or liked anything from there. I don't know if they're new or not, but is God Bless the Machine #1, which is actually was the cover of the next phase for this month. And it's a darkly comedic odyssey through a lurid sci-fi world. Talks about a boy band being held hostage on the moon, a malfunctioning robots flooding apartments, a VR mental health assistant going to great lengths to find a permanent body. It sounds like a hot mess of a book, and that's all I really know about it. But it's like, I'd read it. The cover artwork looks interesting. So,
all right, I'm ready for Marvel, though I don't have a whole lot in Marvel.
Okay.
Mike, did you have anything else in next phase?
No, I'm done with next phase.
Okay, well, I'm just going to jump into page 2 inside of Marvel. We have Ultimate Spider-Man #1. All right, now this is going to be written by Jonathan Hickman, who has the Ultimate Invasion. I don't know if that's wrapped up yet or not, but we have a new Ultimate Spider-Man #1. I'm assuming this is going to be the Ultimate Peter Parker, because we have the more classic costume, but of course the Ultimate Universe ended with Miles Morales as Spider-Man. So is it Peter? Is it Miles? Are we getting another Spider-Man character? I hope not, because we already have too many, for Marvel to keep up with. But anyway, new Ultimate Spider-Man #1, and they don't say who it's going to be in the solicit. So I don't know.
I'm curious to see, obviously Hickman takes everything to a very deep level of detail. And something like Spider-Man, is he going to go that deep with it? Are we going to get something a little more fun and surface level like we kind of normally get with Spider-Man? I'm curious to see how he handles the character.
I think maybe, especially if it's Peter Parker, I think we'll still have that Peter Parker, but I think the events around him will be where the depth is, as opposed to maybe inside. Yeah. But who knows? I mean, with Hickman, you never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I don't always understand it. I'll admit it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the first step to recovery.
That's right. Admitting that you have a problem. Yeah.
It's like reading Animal Man by Grant Morrison. I'm like, what is going on?
Yes, absolutely.
I wasn't going to talk about this, but I just scrolled to it, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it. We got Avengers Twilight. We have 2 issues soliciting. This is written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Daniel Acuna. It seems like it's another variant Earth story, multiversal story. I'm just, kind of getting tired of those. But we have Cap, fighting the power, I guess, is how we can describe this. So it's a world where the heroes aren't so heroic, apparently. So
I was really bummed to see there wasn't any sparkly vampires in this. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Avengers Twilight. Oh, I just got it, man. I am slow on uptake today.
It's the time.
I had it. I had a mark just for the creators alone. I like Zdarsky, and I absolutely love Daniel Acuna's art. So it's a 6-issue series. So I might just get it for that reason.
His lines are so thick that I don't know. I'm undecided. Yeah. So I don't know and it's a Cap story, but I'm undecided if I'm gonna pick this up or not. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, it was a similar story that Acuna was the artist on. It was the Freedom Fighters in the 2000s, I think, and sounds kind of like the same setup as what we have here with an America No More.
Venditti Freedom Fighters?
No, it was before that. I believe it was. Okay. Who's the guy that made Cap a Spencer? Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Made him a Hydra agent.
yeah, but it was before that. Yeah, it was like, well, maybe it was early 20-teens. I don't know. Okay. But that's what it reminds me of, both in the premise and the art.
And I think it's a much older Steve Rogers, is what I'm
he's
gathering.
kind of scarred up and
Mm-hmm. Losing his hair a little bit, thinning hair. My next thing is in 22 because we got a bunch of Gang Wars stuff going on and X-Men. There's just too much X-Men for me to try to follow.
Well, I was going to mention on 12 and 13 the fall of the House of X and the rise of the Power of 10 books, which seem to be the beginning of the end of the Age of Krakoa, is what it says. So this seems to be maybe their book ending the whole Hickman X universe, which I'm only excited for because I like the idea that if they end this, maybe they'll start with a simpler X book again.
X-Men is one of those titles. If there were 1 or 2 books a month, I would probably buy them.
Absolutely. Same.
But when they redid this with powers of and I can't remember what the other one was.
House of,
and then House of and Powers of, and then they went immediately into like 8 books. It's like, no, that's too much. Too much.
Yeah, agreed.
It's even too much to read digital. Too much to read digital, even. You know, if you're subscribed, it's like, I don't want to bounce around between 6 to 8 different titles just to keep up with what's going on. So, it's just too much. I miss the Claremont days where we had maybe 2 books. You know.
Yeah.
I would read X-Men then. So.
I'm on page 76. 18.
Okay, 18. That's you then.
And it's only with a question. It's a title called Resurrection of Magneto, 1 of 4 by Al Ewing, and I didn't know Magneto had died, so I'm assuming in one of those multiple books by Hickman that he probably died and he's coming back. So
he's died at least once before that as well. So it's not new for Magneto to die. Once he died and came back as a much younger version of himself, and
okay.
So he's died before. But see, the one thing I do know about the whole Krakoa thing is they have this, I don't know, rebirth machine type thing where they have 5 X-Men who have a certain power set, and they can basically store their memories, send them someplace, they die, and then they will come back with the memories, everything up until the point that they went out on that mission, and they just rebirth them. So it was kind of it turned into a storyline about, how at one point in one of those X books that, they needed to share that with the rest of the world, but no, they didn't.
Right.
I'm just mentioning on page 22, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu Gang War 2, David Aja cover. I love this. I love this cover. I don't know what it is about this cover, but it is. I love it. You got Shang-Chi fighting just some of your typical Yakuza agents, but it's just David Age he's just awesome. So I just like it.
That's cool.
It's got good action for a still image. Like you could just kind of see the movements if you kind of look at it.
Yeah.
So just like it. I may buy it just because I like it.
What better reason?
Yeah, there you go. Not even read it, just to look at the cover. So, and then my next thing's not till page 88. So, so I'm sure that Shad's got his. I
might have a few Star Wars books. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'll go and throw in one more thing on 30, just because I used to read Power Pack back in the day. So we got a new 5-issue series, Power Pack, Into the Storm, issue 1. This is back to the younger days of Power Pack. So back when they were still kids. Louise Simonson, though, is going to be the writer on it, and she was the original writer for Power Pack back in the day. So
I almost marked that down just for that bit of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, on page 28, I did want to mention / ask about Jackpot. I hadn't heard of this character. Apparently, it's Mary Jane Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what her powers are. It looks like she debuted in Amazing Spider-Man number 31. So she's getting her own book. For how long? I don't know. But anyone know anything about her?
I don't know a lot about Jackpot, though. Jackpot has been around for a long time. This is not this. So it's the Mary Jane Watson version is what appeared in that Amazing Spider-Man number 31. There was a version of Jackpot. I don't even remember how far back, but it's been quite a while, where it was this redheaded character, and everybody assumed it was Mary Jane Watson back in the day, and it ended up not being Mary Jane Watson. I think she shows and there's been multiple versions of the Jackpot character even before Mary Jane Watson was Jackpot. So the character itself's never interested me. I've not read anything that this character has been, any stories that this character's been in, and I'm still not interested. But there is actually a pretty long history to this Jackpot character.
Does she have
no idea what her
powers
is?
Or,
no idea. Like I said, I've not read a single story with Jackpot in it.
I see. Okay. I'm good for until page 61.
All right, it's you then.
Yep, I'm not. I think I'm not till 88.
Oh, that's right.
Unless I see something else that I want to talk about.
Well, it was. It was basically Captain America #5 with J. Michael Straczynski again on this run he's doing, and I was going to ask you, Scott, if you have been reading it.
I am buying it. I have not read the first issue yet.
Okay.
So
it's what you say about it would probably lead me to buy a trade or at least look at on the app.
I will. Well, let's see. It'll probably be after I finish Batgirl before I will start that Captain America. Give it, and I even though I'm buying it physical, I'm probably going to read it digital. So give it a chance to get a few issues on the Marvel app, and I'll probably read it that way. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do want to.
Then.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mention this one. I don't know what it is with comic publishers right now and cats, but there are lots and lots and lots of books about cats. You have Matt Kent did that Hairball story, and then there was that Purr. We've seen that Purr Evil. I think maybe that was an Image book or one of the other Indies book. Yeah, you've got Power Girls cat was in the DC catalog. Now we have Marvel Meow. #1 here. This is on page 45. So I guess cat fans, we've got all different kinds of cats. Black Cat, Black Widow, looks like Bucky Barnes with so Winter Soldier with a cat, though I'm not for sure about that one. Yeah. So anyway, if you're a cat fan, there you go. Marvel has you this month, so
yeah, everybody's got you. There's a cat thing for everyone.
Everyone, right?
Per Evil was not great. I did read the first issue of that, by the way.
Okay, all right. I wasn't even gonna try it. I didn't even read Hairball, even though it's Matt Kent. It's like I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I felt guilty about that, but yeah.
Right. On 76 is Star Wars Thrawn Alliances #1, and I don't know this book specifically, but what excites me about this is adapting one of Timothy Zahn's Thrawn books, and Timothy Zahn is obviously a pretty prolific Star Wars novelist in the past, and the book Thrawn Alliances is a post Disney takeover book. But if things go well with a Timothy Zahn adaptation, it's like, okay, well, there's a lot of really cool what they consider legends books that Timothy Zahn has written that would be awesome to see translated into comic book form. Obviously, this is coming off the cusp of Ahsoka and Thrawn's big kind of appearance in there. So if you want more of that, this will definitely scratch that itch, I would imagine.
Now, Timothy Zahn I think, are my two favorite non-movie characters in Thrawn and Mara Jade. So, so those are two of my faves back from Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, The Last Command, that 3-book story that Zahn did. But those books were great until Kevin Anderson came along and ruined the whole thing. So.
And then on 83 is Star Wars Visions. I'm going to mess up this name. Takashi Okazaki.
Perfect.
Is that pretty good? All right. Yeah. Which is a prequel to the Ronin episode of Visions, which we got a one shot of the Ronin Vision story in comic book form, and now this is the name. The Takashi Okazaki, I went for a second time, is the name of the creator who had made that short, and then you made the comic book form obviously as well. So they're just naming this book after him. And this is how he became the Ronin that we see in that Vision story. So I thought that was pretty cool, and we'll definitely pick that up. I love how they actually haven't touched any of the other Vision stories, though. Like, the only one, they're in 2 seasons of Vision stuff at this point, and they're just like, well, the Ronin one, really, people liked that one a lot. It was episode 1, and people dug it, so we'll stick with expanding that universe, maybe.
Page 88, we have the second volume for the ROM Omnibus. So this has got a couple of covers to choose from. The Bill Sienkiewicz one, which I think is ROM Annual number 1. And then I'm not for sure about the Mike Zeck cover. I don't think that's an annual. If it is, it's Annual 3. I can't remember where that image comes from. But I will probably be getting the Sienkiewicz cover on that one. I like it a little bit more simple. So.
I'm done on the Marvel side.
I am also finished with Marvel.
E3.
All right. I only have one thing on Pullbox.
Holy cow.
I don't know if anybody else has anything on Pullbox. You guys got stuff?
I got a few things.
I got four things.
4? Okay. All right. I've only got one, so you guys do a couple each, and then I'll do my one, and then you can each do a couple. You'll finish out your last couple.
Okay, Shad.
I'll start in the Dynamite section. We've got a book I wasn't super excited about, but I definitely wanted to bring it up if anybody did care about the Disney things. There's a Lilo and Stitch book, Lilo and Stitch number 1. It seems like Lilo and Stitch is, maybe I'm just a smidgen too old to care about it as much as maybe others. I know my brother was into it, so there's definitely an audience because I can't turn around without seeing something Lilo and Stitch around something. So if you're into that, Lilo and Stitch number 1, looks like they've got a series coming out for that out of Dynamite.
Okay. Also in Dynamite, I have James Bond 007. It's 2024 storyline. I guess that's the best way to describe it, by Garth Ennis and Ralph Labasco. Cover art by Dave Johnson, who I always liked his work. He did Superman Red Sun, did some Deadpool, 100 Bullets. But I've picked up the 007 miniseries off and on. Usually I'm not disappointed. So
I'm going to go ahead and jump in here with my one because I don't want you to steal it from me. So,
I was afraid that I might.
Yeah. So we have from Titan Comics, Rebel Moon, House of the, was it the Blood Axe, the Brood Axe?
Yep.
I have it
Blood
written
Axe.
down. Blood Axe. Okay, thank you. House of the Blood Axe. So this is a Netflix 2-part story, as I understand it. That's going to be coming out. I think it's later this year. I think it's still coming out maybe pretty soon. But we're going to have a 4-issue prequel tale. Of course, Zack Snyder. This has an Art Germ cover, but man, that does not look like Art Germ artwork to me. So Art Germ apparently changed the style for this particular book. But yeah, so I'm probably going to get this because I'm kind of excited for this series. So it's like, well, if I can get a little bit extra, to start, I'll do that. So yeah,
I actually don't think they showed the Art Germ cover.
It's the A cover.
But the A cover I don't think is shown, is it?
Yeah, it is on Pullbox.
Oh, is it the red one with the guy standing?
No, it's the darker gray one. So.
Oh, okay. That's not in the. They didn't print that one in the.
Oh,
in the big
okay.
book.
All right. So yeah. So I'm on the website. So
Gotcha.
On the website, they actually show it, and it does. I don't know. Let me see if I can. I'm going to share my screen here with you guys real fast, just so you can see this.
Yeah.
And that does not look like Art Germ to me at all. It's, I don't know. It's kind of, his stuff looks like all the characters look like they're like airbrushed models, and we don't have that airbrushed model look to this. It just
more flat.
Yeah. It doesn't look like Art Germ, which I actually like this better.
So I do too.
Yeah,
I like it better than his typical.
Yeah,
style.
I'm not a huge Art Germ fan for his covers, but I kind of like this cover. So
this looks more photorealistic, I think.
I agree. And like I've seen sketch conventions from Art Germ, and like actually he can draw. So he's not somebody who's just like light boxing somebody else's stuff. So I just that particular style, but this I like. So. And Zack Snyder. I'm a fan of Zack Snyder. He gets a writer credit, but I'm sure he's not doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this. So
he's probably the idea guy, I would imagine.
I'm saying he's probably involved in this as Keanu Reeves was with Berserker.
Berserker, yeah. Or the Mother of Dragons was with that series. I forgot the name of it. Yeah. Amelia or Emily Clark. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And out of Massive Publishing, I have Dillinger Escape Plan #1, which maybe this book might get the award for the most confused title, because on the actual preview books it says one of us is the killer. So I'm not actually sure what they're calling this book. But so Dillinger Escape Plan, a little backstory, is a metal band that I used to be into, and out of nowhere they are celebrating their 10th anniversary of the album One of Us is the Killer. And so they are writing a story kind of around that. It's about a string of assassinations, and so I'm like, okay, I would definitely check this out, but I don't know what the book is actually called by the time it all comes said and done. So we've got the name of the band, we got the name of the album, and then in bold at one point it says Understanding Decay in the solicit. So that might also be the title of it. Who knows what this book is called?
I think it is Dillinger Escape Plan. No, I think it's Dillinger Escape Plan. I think is the title. That's how it's listed on the website. I wonder if there's, of course, they don't show the indicia in these preview pages. So
now that I read, I zoom in a little bit. It says in a thinner font, The Dillinger Escape Plans. One of Us is the Killer is what maybe the full title of it is.
Maybe, yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. If you are, I don't know how many people are into that band or were at any point in time, but I think it's pretty cool. That I love when there's a cool crossover between the two worlds of music and comics.
I do too. I always keep an eye on stuff like that, like the David Bowie books and.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to promote the Ariel Olivetti art book. It's I would say what page it's on, but I can't because I'm on the Pullbox website. So anyway, it's an art book, $25. And if you don't know Ariel Olivetti, he's done a lot of work. My first, I think, exposure to him was in a book it was a 12-issue maxi series called Haven, and it was basically a group of aliens that landed, kind of basically crash landed on Earth, and they just basically developed they were allowed to have their own little society in the area of the crash site, and it did sort of interact with the other DC characters, but he's also done things. He's been on Batman and Spider-Man and Venom, Space Ghost. But he's got that he's a painter, but even his pencil work is just phenomenal. So, I only have one or two art books, but I'm thinking about getting this one as well.
My last thing is a few just little funny things. Out of Golden Books, there's a couple of Wild Golden Books this month. There's a Arnold Schwarzenegger biography Golden Book. There is a Lady Gaga Golden Book, and then the Golden Girls, The Way We Met little Golden Book. So if you like those or want to give a random kid a weird Golden Book, check those out. And then the other weird thing I've got is out of the Random House Books Young Readers section is the Nickelodeon Coloring the 90s coloring book, which has a little spot in my heart. So had to mention that.
Well, along the lines of kids' books, I've got a couple of granddaughters that I once in a while will talk about books I see in the catalogs or on sale that might be good for them or interest them. And I'm looking at something put out by a company called Paper Cuts with a Z.
Okay.
It's called Magical History Tours, and there's 2 or 3 different books or volumes that are solicited, but I'm just going to point out the volume 1, which is about the Great Pyramids. And I'm always, whether my oldest granddaughter likes it or not, I want to kind of show her a little bit about history in a way that she might be more likely to enjoy it. So it seems like a good stocking stuffer to me.
Yeah.
And my last thing is my obligatory tomorrow's plug, back issue number 150. It's an oversized 100-page super spectacular, and you can't go wrong with that. And it features Batman artists of the 70s, which is, I mean, my wheelhouse for Batman art. Everybody from Bob Brown to Dick Giordano, Frank Robbins, Bernie Wrightson, Alex Toth, and Irv Novick and Walt Simonson. Even though I haven't seen a ton of Batman art by Walt Simonson, except maybe in the Manhunter series, but this is I pick up a lot of the back issues and alter egos, but this is a for sure pickup for me. And that's it.
That's it. All right. So, Shad, what do we got coming up in episode 172?
172, we are going to do the first 5 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as the Batman Detective Comics Volume 1 of the Ram V run, which is, I believe, called Overture. And there's some more words.
Gotham Nocturne,
yes.
Overture.
That's right, yes. Do we have any hot picks?
Oh, my goodness gracious. How could I have forgotten that? So,
I know that's Atch's favorite part.
Yes,
oh,
yes. So,
thanks a lot, Shad.
Oh, gosh. I mean, there was so little, in this that there's just not a whole lot to pick. So I don't.
What are we excited for, though?
Okay, so excited. I got it. That's an easy one for me. So I'm gonna go with ROM Volume 2. That's just, I need that omnibus. I'm still waiting on my first one, ready to get that series before they lose the ability to print it again. So
right, absolutely.
Have some nice shelf things. So that's absolutely what I'm looking forward to.
I'd say mine is the John Constantine Hellblazer Dead in America #1. Anything that's going to expand on the Sandman universe, I'm in for.
Anything you're looking forward to, Mike?
I'm looking at my list, and I think it's going to have to be the Jason Aaron Action Comics 1061. See what his take is like on Superman, just like I was excited about when Zdarsky came over and did Batman, just to see a different take by a very established and well-regarded writer.
All right. Anybody got an investment pick?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest the DC Power 2024 just because sometimes they throw a new character in there, so it could be a first appearance, but has a long shot.
Yeah. Well, the other long shot is that Ghost Machine one shot, because if that new Jeff Johns, not Scott Snyder, universe were to take off, then there could be something there as well, because there will be some new characters introduced in that Ghost Machine one shot, and even maybe not this month, but that Superman #2 that had Marilyn Moonlight.
Yeah,
I want to get that in there one more time, said correctly. So hit your back issues, and see if you can track down Superman 2. Or Marilyn Moonlight. You want to add anything, Mike?
No, if I was going to say anything, it was going to be the Ghost Machine endeavor, that little push there, just because there's opportunities there.
Yeah. What about Moon Man 1? Do either of you think Moon Man 1 has a shot? That's that.
With Kid Cudi?
Kid Cudi. I still want to say Cudi. Kid Cudi Muscudi. Scott Kid Cudi Muscudi. Do we think that has a shot?
I think it's just another celebrity trying to do it. It's another Berserker type of situation.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think you're right too, but I just wanted us to talk about something. So
right. Absolutely.
Shad, where would people track you down if they wanted to reach out to you?
Oh, they can find me on the Facebooks usually. Look me up at Shad Schubert. That's ShaadSchubert.
That's how you know Shad's getting old, because he's calling it the Facebook.
The face.
Mike,
It's
what about you?
On the social media side, it's basically X, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
Mike Atchison 5. And by email is our shared account for the podcast called podcasts@bergcomics.com.
Yeah. And we're getting more spam on that than anything else. So, please email us so we get some real email on that account as opposed to spam. And I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at bergcomics.com, BURGcomics.com, which has links to social media and my eBay store. And we'll be back soon with episode 172.
Stare at the boob window too much. All right, I found our stinger for the end. I'm just going to repeat that like 30 times with his voice really, really high. Like I said, it's not something I'm proud of, but yeah, I'll probably pick those up. The boob window, the boob window, the boob window, the boob window.